What's up, everyone? Welcome back for another Comic-Con 2022 interview with one of my favorite human beings on this planet,
The seagulls.
Bruce Campbell.
The seagulls are here. They're catcalling.
I like animals, but I did say human being.
Oh.
Human being, actor,
Got
producer. You know how awesome I think you are. Congratulations on
It's a
Doctor
pleasure
Strange.
to be here because it's nice to, I never thought I would miss all of these people.
Yes, you would.
I do.
You are a con pro, though.
But I actually missed my green room buddies because there's a lot of actors I only see at conventions. It's the only time that I can torment Shatner.
Who do you look forward to seeing most in those green rooms when you come to these?
Oh, Shatner's awesome, but Shatner, it's like 30 seconds and then leave him alone. He's going to go back to tweeting, you know? So I come up, I kiss his butt a little bit, kiss his ring, and then it's fade off. And so he's happy to see me because he knows I'm not going to be there long.
That seems like a really respectable approach when everybody is overrun at these cons. I get it.
And Elvira, Cassandra, she's incredibly sweet. She's always making like green tea off to the side. And Stan Lee was a very jolly guy, sort of the cliche Stan Lee. He was either that or he was sleeping in a chair. And if you're 108, you get to do that.
You get to associate with some of the coolest, most talented people here. I love it. I love it. So we are here right now celebrating the at-home release of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Tuesday. We got to talk a whole lot about Pizza Poppa right now. But first, more broadly, with your Marvel experience, what is something about the process of making a Marvel movie that has stayed the same from Spider-Man until Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? But then what's something about the process nowadays that made you go like, whoa, I can't believe that they do that now to make these movies?
A Marvel movie is always, it's tricky if you're in them because you never know if you're going to still be in them. Like if I was Benedict Cumberbatch, I'd be nervous that I was going to be cut out of Doctor Strange because it's a big storyline. It's really a mini-series, all of these movies. They're not individual movies. Because I was talking about there's a lot of exposition in Doctor Strange. And I mentioned that to someone and they go, I needed every bit of it. And I never thought of it that way because I didn't know the 14 other movies, the chronology. So I see how important it is to people. So people really, I mean, the fans of these Marvel movies, it's an army of people. Yeah. If I tweet anything associated, I should just wake up in the morning and go, Marvel, and like with picture myself. And just people, they go crazy.
You totally could do that.
Because there's so many fans, though, of Marvel, you know, as opposed to like, you know, the Evil Dead movies have a good, low, strong pulse of a fandom. But, you know, they're small and humble. Marvel is like, it's massive. It's amazing. They've really sustained it, too, for 20 years now. Since Spidey,
it is really
original Spider-Man. It's a stunning run.
It is really, really incredible. It blows my mind to think how they built this franchise.
It has made careers and ended careers, and stagnated careers.
Has it really?
Hell yeah.
Who comes to mind?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to rat anybody out. But big movies, you get so imprinted. Like, you know, the Hemsworth boys. You know, if you play Thor like 3 or 4 times, you got to be careful. Like you're going to have to do a serial killer movie next.
Well,
you know what I mean? You're going to have to be.
Chris did do a really unique Netflix movie after where he got to balance like his comedic chops, but with also like this sinister element to it also.
Good.
And it was very effective.
Good. That'll help.
I do feel like a lot of the big Marvel stars in particular, though, have done an exceptional job. And this is because they are like pure talent all on their own, an exceptional job doing the Marvel movies, but also showing off all the other assets they have.
Well, you just proved me wrong, so I'll just shut the hell up.
Let's move on to Pizza Poppa in particular right now.
Sure.
Somewhat similar question for you on that. What is the biggest difference between the Pizza Poppa Sam first pitched to you compared to what we see in the final movie?
It always changes with Sam because whatever's on the written page doesn't really hold water when you actually go to shoot. Because he'll see it and then he'll go, okay, all right, yeah, you're not going to say that anymore. You know, let's try that. Say this. Say that. It's very fluid, which is great. It's a great way to work because some writers are really verklempt and they like don't change a word, and some writers are really, really uptight, and some directors are nervous that they'll get yelled at if you want to fool around a little bit. Sam throws it all out the window when you show up to work.
Was it always Pizza Poppa and pizza balls, or did that idea ever evolve?
I think he was always some street vendor type dude. I was in it, I was out, I was in, I was out. I mean, I think I was in and out of it 3 or 4 times, according to the editor.
What about, actually, I'm going to apply that question now to Sam's process in general, because I know you guys like to play around on all your movies. So
Sure.
what is something about his process that stayed the same from your first collaboration until now? And then what's something you saw him do on Doctor Strange that made you go, even though I've known you for so long, I didn't know you were capable of that?
Well, Sam is just, he's a technically literate director. Like, he read the American Cinematographer's Manual, and nobody reads that crap. I mean, that's if I want to, hang myself, I'll read stuff like that. Aperture settings and frame rates and exposures and all that. Because he sort of looked at it like a magician. So what are the tools that I have of this camera here? Like, what can that Canon camera do? And I think we would all know about 10% of what that camera can do. Sam would learn 100% of what that camera can do. And he'd make it roll over and bark. We did Army of Darkness. And we had a scene where it was not in the finished movie. I had to hit like 12 different marks on the floor without looking at them, and the camera was doing crazy readjustments everywhere I went. And at the very end, it ended on an extreme close-up of my ear. And I thought I was taking pity on myself. I'm like, God, man, I'm working it, man. I'm really earning my pay. And I look over at the guy who was pulling focus. He was pouring sweat, because he goes, this movie is killing me. He goes, every trick I've ever learned on any shoot I've had to use in like the last 3 weeks on this movie, because of how demanding Sam is, and it has to work. I mean, that was one uncut fluid shot. It had to work. It had to be in focus. And this guy Hamid, I mean, he was trembling. I saw him out of the corner of my eye. I mean, he was like twitching, trying to make sure that final close-up worked. So that's how he works. He's very demanding, but he's a blast to watch. And it's so awesome to trash talk back to a big Hollywood director now. The crew, like in England, we shot in London. The English crews, I'm very popular with the English crews. So I show up, Sam starts being mean to me right away. So I start dishing it back, and the crew members are like, whoa, who's this day player who's like getting in this director's face? Oh, they were stunned for like the whole day, and then I'm gone. It's great.
Sam's ability to do all that digging and understand the camera, though, is definitely a big part of the reason why his style is so distinct. Like, yeah. I don't need to see his name in the credits, but if really. I see his footage, I know it's a Sam Raimi movie.
Though, I will say this. It's not just this. You know what I mean? Camera shooting up your nose, going in circles. Watch 2 movies without the sound. Watch Evil Dead 2 and A Simple Plan. So A Simple Plan, Sam's not a masturbatory filmmaker, because A Simple Plan, how he shot it, he'd have whole conversations with one angle. Just Bill Paxton, Bridget Fonda, just talking. It's a simple plan. It's a simple movie. And then as the movie gets crazier, then he starts to dial it up a little bit. He matches his style to the material. Other filmmakers who I will not name are, look at me, I'm a filmmaker. Tell the story. So Sam will go crazy with the camera if it calls for it. So if you're doing this movie, go nuts.
This is why Sam is one of my favorites.
He's a master.
What you just described is literally a project I did in film school, comparing the Evil Dead movies to A Simple Plan, and I studied that movie more than I care to admit right now. Let's talk a little bit, I don't know if I've overthought this, about the Pizza Poppa backstory. Did you ever come up with the reason why he decided, like, my business, my thing should be pizza balls?
I can't talk about a lot of it, but if you think he's just the pizza guy, you are so gravely mistaken. It's a character that this special interloper, he's an interloper between universes. There was a reason why he delayed Doctor Strange for about 45 seconds, did he not? He delayed him. He did not go further down the street. You can put into it whatever you want. I know for a fact he saved Doctor Strange's life for a reason. So he's put there for a reason, and it's not because he's a pizza vendor. He's not just going to be what I call P squared.
Okay. I really would believe that.
This is the beginning. This is not the end of Pizza Poppa.
I genuinely want it to be the beginning, but every single time you're in a Marvel movie, it's a Marvel movie that Sam is directing. Does that mean you are leaving the door open?
It means Marvel doesn't really like me that much, but if Sam says I need to use Campbell, they won't get in the way.
But what if it's another director? Would you return to Marvel?
Then Marvel will go, we don't need Campbell that badly.
Then Marvel doesn't know what they're doing, and I have to erase this whole conversation.
I would never accuse Marvel of not knowing what they're doing.
Hopefully the sarcasm came through in that comment. Yeah, really. Now I'm screwed. I will never survive after this interview. I'm still very hung up on pizza balls, though. In general, how do you feel about pizza balls? Because I'm a New Yorker, so I have very specific taste in my pizza.
They probably suck.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but didn't want to say it.
But look, your friend is down the hallway in a hotel room. You roll a few down to him. It's not a bad delivery method.
All right. I guess that is a pro of a pizza ball.
Yeah, but not much else.
Did you ever consider what your character might be doing in different universes? Do you think he's a food vendor with a different food in every single universe?
It has nothing to do with his job. My role in the multiverse is way beyond being a pizza vendor. I mean, you're only going to realize this when I talk to you again in 5 years. Your mind will be blown at what they do with what was formerly known as the Pizza Poppa. I'm going to start with that. I'm formerly known as Pizza Poppa.
I'll believe it, and this is truly a big reason why I love Marvel, is because as the series progresses, then I go back and I watch their earlier films, and certain things have had added layers because of what I know that they led to.
Right. Case in point, Pizza Poppa.
I'll believe it. All right, I have to ask you a little bit about Evil Dead. In particular, just like Ash versus Evil Dead. I don't think I'll ever get over the cancellation of that show. But now that we are, some years removed from that, are you able to share anything at all about what the plan for season 4 was? Because that was an A+ cliffhanger.
Well, and we didn't design it to be a cliffhanger. We knew the ratings were bad after the end of the second season. We knew it. No one knew what Stars was. I would say, hey, we're making Evil Dead as a TV show. People would go, yeah. Where can I see it? Stars. And then there would be a pause, and then they would go, what Stars? When it dropped on Netflix, people went, hey, cool, Netflix is finally doing the Evil Dead show. I'm like, oh my God. It was three years too late. So it's okay. It's commerce, it's business. These companies were all expanding. AMC led the way. We're not just going to show other people's movies. We're going to make our own original stuff. So everyone is making their own original stuff. Stars used to just show other people's movies. So the new sort of paradigm is, no, you own it. It's going to cost you a lot of money, but now you own these properties. So Stars tried to do the same thing, but no one knew who they were.
Is there any hope in your mind and Sam's mind whatsoever for the continuation of that story?
Yeah, as an animated series, you pick up right where the show left off.
Okay.
You can do the future a lot easier in animation.
That's fair.
And I still sound like Ash. And my voice doesn't have, my voice hasn't been as beat up as my body has been. So I can still do that crap. So I'll still do the video game. And we're already talking about animated.
I have all the faith in the world. If there was more live action Ash, you would still kick ass.
No, I hang up this.
I know.
No, it's official.
You have earned the right. You have given us quite a bit.
We left it on the table. Look. People always go, we needed Evil Dead 4. Instead, you got 15 hours of completely. It's the most unrated television show made in the history of television. I mean, my head goes up a cadaver's butt.
That's seared in my brain for life.
Top that. I mean, that's you can't get that out of your head. So the fans did get the mother lode, and they're enjoying it now because they're just now finding it. And I'm like, fine, doesn't matter.
So I don't want to be. I want to be greedy and get more Ash versus Evil Dead, but we are also getting Evil Dead Rise, which is very exciting.
It is, because it actually does not suck in the least.
I would believe
Lee Cronin did a great job.
He's exceptional.
Sam picks these director types who've had some experience, but we can still sort of shove them into the Evil Dead box a little bit, because these are Maverick-type directors.
Lee's work is very different from Sam's and from the style of the other Evil Dead movies.
Yeah, so I give Sam credit. He's not picking people who are just going to mimic his shit. They come with very strong personalities and approaches, and Lee did it's a very European Evil Dead.
How so?
just his sensibility, the whole thing about it. I don't think there's a handheld shot in the entire movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
From his previous work, I could picture that and
He's
how
very
it works.
methodical. Very methodical.
What about the high-rise setting? Because that's
It's
a very
cool.
unusual thing for
It's
this
cool.
franchise.
The apartment is the cabin. And it's a single mom. It's not Ash. There's no connection to the previous movie at all. These days, it's about that darn book. Where does that darn book show up? Because there's 3 of them after all. We learned that from Army of Darkness.
There's one in my apartment, actually.
Well, there's a lot of them out there. But there's three books. So it's really about that these days, which is nice because we don't have to tie it in. It's too much brain power to have to connect all the dots to all these movies. So they're going to operate on their own now.
So you're not in that movie. You are executive producing it.
But I do have one line of dialogue in the movie.
You do.
I play a priest. You'll hear me on an old record that is being played back over the speakers. Yeah.
Do any of the new characters have any Ash qualities?
None.
None at all.
None. There's only one male person in the movie. Everyone else is female. Well,
ladies can have kick-ass Ash qualities too.
Oh, they do.
I watched Dana do it the entire time during Ash vs. Evil
So our
Dead.
heroine, we have a heroine in this case. And yeah, she kicks ass.
Okay, I like it. I'll end with this one for you because I love looking into the evolution of horror throughout the years. What is the best recent horror movie you have seen, and why do you love it so much?
You'd actually have to list a few because I actually don't go out of my way to look at horror. Like I'll watch Lawrence Welk before I watch a horror movie.
I could tell you some of my favorite from this year.
Sure.
The new Scream movie.
Okay, didn't see it.
Oh man, what about X? Have you seen Ty West's X?
Didn't see it.
All right. This one's upcoming, but Bodies is great too.
Never heard of it.
A lot of great A24 movies coming up.
I'm so out of it. I am out of it.
You're allowed to be out of it because you've given us so much in the genre, and I'm so greatly appreciative of it. And I am appreciative of your time today. Just to remind everyone here, even though I could talk Evil Dead all day long, we are here to celebrate Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which you can buy on digital right now.
Tuesday.
And it's going to be available. Digital's now, actually.
Okay, like I said, now
4K
and
Blu-ray
Tuesday.
and DVD is Tuesday.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for your time, Bruce. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon with more Comic-Con interviews.